Wrapping up the Tuesday day of trade here on the Daily Market Summary. I'm joined now by Taylor Engum of agmarket.net. Taylor, what did we see going on in the trade today on the grain side of the markets?
Fairly quiet in the corn side of the market. We finished still down close to contract lows, but only within about a 1 to 2 cent range all day. Beans finished flat nearby, and outside beans finished a little bit lower. And wheat certainly took a beating today, down almost 10 cents.
Taylor, how do you think the weather right now in the United States and the Corn Belt is factoring into the ag marketplace?
It's a really mixed bag. We've got a lot of counties looking at the last previous 2 weeks of rainfall, where some counties have some of their wettest years on record, and then a few miles away or half a state away, there's counties that have some of their driest years on record.
And then I know as well we're keeping eyes on the Middle East and what's happening there with the crude oil price. Also, what's happening with the US dollar and the value of the dollar?
The U.S. dollar is pegging over 101 right now, and so I think that's putting an additional headwind on our exports. More expensive for countries to buy U.S. grains, and with oil, we're getting down close to pre-war levels. So hopefully, we'll start seeing that effect at the pump.
So, as you mentioned, with the dollar being a bit of a headwind right now, does that mean that it stays that way then as long as the dollar remains at that level? Do we have to wait for it to move? Or is that something that the markets take into account initially and then move on from?
I think it's there's a lot of factors on the macroeconomic level that are going to affect the value of the dollar, and particularly Fed policy and their outlook for U.S. interest rates later this year. And strong dollar, it's great for the goods that we import, but for the grains that we're trying to export, it does make it more expensive.
And speaking of those exports, we've been keeping an eye on those flash sales and going, you know, over those with a fine tooth comb and making sure that we're following that very closely. Have you had any takeaways from some of those recent sales?
Just keep them coming. We need to have steady exports and predictable exports, whether it's to uh, the Northeast Asian countries or south of the border. That export is really what we need to chew through the remaining 2025 crop and give us a boost going into 2026.
Over on the other side of the ag marketplace, how did the cattle and hogs trade here on Tuesday?
So cattle finished weaker. We had a big up day the last couple of days, getting 370 in the feeder board, and 250 to 260 on fat cattle. So a lot of strength in the cattle, softer today, but I think cash markets are still quite strong.
And Taylor, I wanted to ask you as well, did anything catch your eye in that latest cattle on feed report?
Yeah, placements came as a surprise to a lot of people. We were expecting 92%, and they came in around 90%. And so that's really the bullish news that we were digesting yesterday, and gave us the bounce that we saw in the cattle market. So really what that was telling us is that we did see significant numbers of cattle get pulled forward in March and April down south.
What's the best way for our viewers to get in touch for more marketing information?
Jump on our website, www.agmarket.net, and get in touch with a broker.
He is Taylor Engum of agmarket.net, my guest here today. Thanks so much for the time, Taylor. Really appreciate it and have a great rest of your day.
You as well. Thanks.